Hello, everybody. How are you? How is everybody's Sunday? We spent some time together, some of us. Those of you that came while we were doing gel printing and trying to sew. And the sewing, first of all, without my contacts, the real ones, and it's like impossible for me to see really small because I have multifocal lenses, which are on order. Hopefully, maybe they'll be here tomorrow. But my thread or something was breaking. I don't know if it was the thread that was breaking or the tension, but the thread was definitely older, and the new thread that I bought was way too large. So I was in the process of ordering some thread. I don't think I ever finished it, so that's not good. Not good at all. But we're going to talk about true crime now. We're backtracking. We're not on crafts. We're not on sewing. We're not on gel printing anymore. We are going to talk about true crime. And let me just, boy, what do I got to do here? I've got to put my phone back on the charger. And I did put my watch on. All right. So we're into the Turpins. You guys familiar with the Turpin case? If you're not, it was a house of horrors. Maybe that people wouldn't think was. And I just want to make a quick announcement. We're having an interview tomorrow, 2 p.m. Really good. It's a mental health professional talking about something that affects a lot of us. So you probably don't want to miss that. What's up with this? Okay, here we go. Hi, Rosalita. Hi, Luna Streams. Yeah, you really don't want to miss tomorrow's interview. It's different. We're not talking to an author. We're talking to a mental health professional. And I, of course, cannot give out the names before because these people get harassed. So I will announce it shortly before, but I'm telling you, you're going to want to be here because a lot of people need to hear this. All right, that's all I'll say. Now let's go. Let me get you on. So the Turpins, these poor kids lived in a house of horrors. Their parents dressed them up a lot of times, like they had the thing 1, thing 2. They went to the Elvis Chapel. They got married all the time. They did Disney things, Disney themed things. But in reality, they lived a horrendous life of like prisoners, okay, in an actual house of horrors. And this was in California. And the only reason that people know what's going on is because there were a couple brave kids that attempted to escape and they got out, right? Now the kids, they had many kids, as you can see here. Let me get a bigger picture of them so you can see how many kids they had. I'll give you a brief history of this case and then we'll talk about what happened. Because there's been a lot of twists and turns in this case since they got out, and you would think like, oh my gosh, let it have a happy ending. I mean, they were under so much trauma that to begin with, right? But when you find out what's happened, when it should have been, like hyper vigilance in placing these kids in foster homes or helping them with things, and we found out like there were other things that they were supposed to get help with, and we talked about this in the past, and money didn't go to them. It's just horrible. Okay, let me get this now. So there are 13 Turpin children, and they were literally like locked in their rooms. They were not fed properly. It was horrendous things that happened to them. So let me just pull this up so you can see a bigger picture, and then I'm going to go into this. These were the Turpin parents. Yeah. Hold on, trying to get this over for you. Really horrible conditions. Okay, here we go. I'm looking at something here. Who the heck? I'm sorry, I'm trying to get this picture over for you guys, and my computer is being what? You know what to say, a little jerk. Okay, here we go. Louise, Turpin, there, mother. There we go. Now you probably remember them, right? Father had that very strange, like, page boy haircut. And in the years after, their aunts came and spoke out, because Louise Turpin had sisters. And so one of her sisters, Elizabeth Flores, begged to see her nieces and nephews. But her sister and brother-in-law, Louise, and that's David Turpin, kept such a secret life that they wouldn't let her in. So people were not allowed in their, house. It was really horrendous. And they were chained. There were actual, like, locks and chains. And it was a jail. It was horrendous. So you think, okay, these kids get out of there, right? And there's going to be a high bar when looking for a foster home. But that wasn't the case. Okay, because 3 people in the foster family were arrested. The foster father, the foster mother, and the daughter. Okay? And the things that they did, that allegedly they did, horrendous. Let's talk about it, okay? It's unbelievable. I don't even understand how they would not have vetted better, or just, like, really picked a family that was tried and true or something. I mean, it was just... Okay. So there, I think you pronounced the name Alguin family. 3 members of the Alguin family. Alguin, I think that's how you say it. Let me show you. I think it's interesting that the foster father wears a mask into the courtroom. It was like, yeah, really? Why did you wear a mask? So he did, and his
Harris
wife,
man, along with his wife and daughter, have admitted to abusing foster children.
So their daughter's name is Lenny's. Never heard that name. His wife is Rosa. And they've all been arrested, and the father, Marcelino, pled guilty on Thursday to 3 counts of lewd and lascivious acts on a child under 14, and 1 count of child endangerment, and 1 count of false imprisonment. Now, according to the Riverside County District Attorney's Office, he is going to likely be sentenced to 7 years in a state prison. And he will have to register as an S offender for the rest of his life. Now, his wife, Rosa, and daughter Lenny's both pled guilty to child endangerment and false imprisonment charges. They're expected to be sentenced to 4 years of probation. According to the warrant, the foster family was aware of the egregious, lifelong, severe abuses that the Turpin parents inflicted on their children and forced the siblings to participate in circle confession talk. Investigators said the Turpin children were confined to their rooms, with several of their doors being equipped with door chimes to alert the foster family when the children exited or entered. Marcelino was accused of essaying the children in excess of 50 times and told them they were sexy. He recommended they not wear undershirts, and he forced kissed them and pulled a minor child on top of him. and they're expected all to be back in court for sentencing on October 8th. So they all pled guilty. There weren't fighting this. It didn't happen. And where are the Turpin kids now? Like, can you imagine that? These kids are pulled from this horrific abuse with their biological parents, and then their great story of rescue thanks to their older siblings, and then they're placed in a family where they're abused in many of the same ways, held prisoner in their bedrooms. Unbelievable. And under the negotiated terms, Marcelino admitted 7 counts of lewd acts on a minor and 1 count of false imprisonment, and prosecutors agreed to drop 4 related charges. His wife admitted 3 counts of child abuse and 1 count each of witness intimidation, grand theft, and false imprisonment. 4 counts are slated to be dropped in her case. The couple's daughter, Lenny's, pled guilty to 3 counts of child abuse and 1 count each of false imprisonment and witness intimidation. The prosecution indicted 3 counts indicated 3 counts would be dismissed under her plea deal. So they gave them all plea deals to confess, right? And unbelievable. So his wife and daughter are supposed to be sentenced to 4 years of felony probation, as well as 3 to 4 months in the sheriff's office work release program in lieu of jail. They'll additionally receive so-called paper commitment prison terms of 4 years each, but the imprisonment will be suspended in exchange for their pleas. Going back to the Turpins, I want to get back to the kids here. So let's talk about the foster family. Here's some things, okay? According to the complaint, several of the Turpin girls were objects of lascivious attention from Marcelino, and that included him grabbing and fondling their buttocks, legs, breasts, kissing them on the mouth, and making suggestive comments. There were instances where the foster family pulled the kids' hair, they hit them with belts, and struck their heads. It stated other abuse, making them sit by themselves, sometimes outside for many hours at a time, making them sit in a circle and recount in detail the horrors that they had experienced while living with their parents, verbally abusing them, cursing at them, telling them they're worthless and should take their own lives, forcing them to eat until they began to vomit, then making them eat their own vomit. They further told the children that nobody would ever love them. So the victims filed civil suits against the Riverside County Department of Public Social Services and private placement agency ChildNet, also known as Foster Family Network, in July of 2022 for alleged gross negligence for placing them with this foster family. The lawsuits were jointly filed by attorneys Elan Zexter and Roger Booth, who are representing different siblings, and provided details on what transpired when they were in this foster family. The victims, almost all of whom are now emancipated young adults, had been in a hostile environment for over 2 years, placed with the foster family after their rescue. And David Turpin, 61 now, and Louise is 54. They are sentenced to 25 years to life in a state prison in 2019 after admitting multiple child cruelty counts. Now the kids first complained of this in November of 2021 following a sheriff's investigation that was initiated based on the Turpin children's complaints of repeated abuse in the foster care home. I want to get... Okay, let's put up the Here's the parents, the foster parents, both wearing masks in court. Let me make this bigger. And I'm trying to find out a little more about that Lenny's and how old she is, okay? Lenny's Algwin. Let's see. Lenny's is 38 years old. Here they all are. Here's the three of them. All three wearing masks. Go on. Okay, I'll give you their ages. Marcelino is 64, Rosa is 59, and Lenny's is 38. So I guess just horrible, horrific abuse, and all three of them involved in it. During the hearing that they had, the judge noted the case had already been active for 496 days. Outside the court, they were asked whether they regretted their behavior towards their vulnerable foster children, and they refused to comment, although the daughter Lenny muttered, "Leave us alone," to one of the press photographers, while Marcelino tried to hide his face. The Turpin, let's see. When last year they were asked about the alleged abuse on the Turpin children at the house, Marcelino replied, "F you," before hiding in his garage. When the kids were rescued, they ranged in age between 2 and 29. The younger children were placed in foster care, which, in the case of the 5, allegedly meant going from the fire to the frying pan, right? Frying pan to the fire. Whichever one you like. From the frying pan to the fire, I'm sorry, that's more likely. The saying there. One male Turpin child was singled out by this foster family for extra abuse and was repeatedly imprisoned in his bedroom. He was cursed at, he was demeaned, he was separated from his sisters. They intentionally destroyed his media devices. All 5 children were threatened with never seeing their older siblings again if they did not comply with what this foster family wanted. Now Lenny's scratched the top of one girl's hand, and when she was holding a metal coin, she moved her hand close to an electrical outlet saying, "You want to get shocked?" There were other foster children in this house. I don't understand how they had so many foster children. How could they say that this is okay? And they say, the children said, another foster child who was 5 years old was given sleeping pills, and then they forced her to stand up while they rang bells in her ear and sprayed her with water in the face so she couldn't fall asleep. Sick people. Sick, absolutely I mean, it's depraved when you think about the people in this world. And we're talking about people, right? People who are 50. Like, this is what I mean about where do you evaluate your life? You're 64 freaking years old and you're given a 5-year-old sleeping pills, and 3 of you think this is okay, that you're ringing bells in her ear in front of other kids. I mean, this is sick. This is sick. Sadistic. Like, what the heck? What do these people even, do they, it's just, how are there so many sociopaths, psychopaths? They are just, I don't even understand. And that's maybe why, no doubt, like you say, some of the people you see on YouTube do the crap that they do at the ages that they are and continue it. When could you look that there's people just like this? Sometimes you have to feel like, my gosh, like this is getting to be the norm with these psychos. Disgusting. Okay, so then they were repeating the revenge phrase, "You don't let us sleep, we're not letting you sleep." Wow, the little girl collapsed and fell on the hard tile floor. They also locked the little girl, who was identified as victim number 1, in her room for 9 hours a day, and they failed to change her diaper. They frightened victim number 1 by telling her spiders were in the bathroom. They held her in that dark, noisy, scary bathroom which contained a large decorative spider at one point. See, these are just sick. Despite victim number 1's crying and panic pleas to be let out, they beat her with sandals. They choked her. They threw her and knocked her front tooth out by throwing her down several steps. Where the heck are the social workers that okayed this family? Who did the checks on this family? That's what really has to happen. How the heck are these people being approved? The family also encouraged 2 of their foster children to fight each other, calling one a filthy a-hole and a mother effer, while another was told she would end up as a white piece of shite on the curb like her biological mother. They are also accused of physically abusing those same 2 children, with Rosa said to have dragged one of them by her hair, which resulted in her hair being pulled out of her head. Both Marcelino and Rosa are certified foster carers, and they were approved to take care and take in the Turpin children by the Riverside County Children's Services Division. They are certified foster carers. Certified. Yeah. My gosh. The social services in the county have been heavily criticized over the children's plight. And there's a report that was published last July noting that the Turpins experienced further harm by a system that was meant to protect them. Do you think so? Really? Wow. The 600-page Larson report also said that the older Turpin children had experienced problems, yes, this is what we talked about, with accessing cash that was raised for their care while they were younger. The Turpins faced abuse at the hands of their foster parents. It continued specifically. Some of the younger Turpin siblings were placed with caregivers who were later charged with child abuse, and some of the older siblings experienced periods of housing instability and food insecurity as they transitioned to independence. Both Turpin parents are serving life sentences after being found guilty of systematically abusing their 13 children by beating and starving them, chaining them to the wall as punishment, and allowing them just 1 shower a year. David Turpin is currently in the protective custody unit at Corcoran State Prison, while wife Louise is serving her sentence in the Central California Women's Prison in Chowchilla. Unbelievable. So yeah, let's see where you are. I want to make sure we're still on YouTube since we're having such issues, but horrific, huh? Horrific stuff, right? Hi, Slam RN. Hey, you got your membership back, Slam RN. Thank you. Let's see. What did you say about Oliver? I don't see what you're agreeing to. People have went so crazy in this world. Yes, they have. These are kids that have had enough misery. They certainly did. Yes, they did. How come Mommy mentioned me about being here for the mental health? I did not say that, but I'm saying everybody should be here for it. They got a piece of paper wrapped for their certification. Isn't that terrible? So the kids have had double abuse at this point. Yes, they have, but they are all emancipated now. Don't think any are in the foster care system. YouTube's okay. Thank you, Luna. Just horrible. Okay? I mean, I don't know. I mean, there's got to be some accountability for how these people, how did they pass home visits? I mean, it's just really, it's so freaking flawed. You know, it's a system that is so flawed, right? We pay athletes and, you know, like performing artists so incredible, right? The amounts that are paid to professional athletes and professional singers, musicians, actors, actresses, you know, paying someone $650,000 for one, you know, an actor for one sitcom episode, okay? But yet, we are so flawed because our teachers and the very people like in mental health care and in social workers and all of that, we're so just understaffed because nobody wants those jobs. Why don't they make their salaries a little more lucrative? Aren't they like very important towards our future so that we don't have so many damaged individuals that are dealing with trauma and all of this stuff that's further affecting everyone? I mean, it's a never-ending cycle, but it's, you know, where does, I don't know, it's just there's no balance at all, right? $10 million, $12 million, you know, it's like, and then, I don't know, it's horrible. The older daughter is an influencer. Yeah, I don't know. It's there needs to be a better way because this is not working and we are really going downhill. And you have some people that are just overpaid so much, you know, and charging, you know, $15,000 for concert tickets, some outrageous stuff. I mean, it's just what we value in this country, okay? When we have Gypsy Rose, right? There we go back to Gypsy Rose. Let's just get this right. Who is she's being idolized as an influencer. And you have companies that are sending her products and they want her to endorse their products for their company, for their brand. And oh my gosh, are you kidding me? Doesn't make any sense, right? She's a murderer, but wouldn't this, I mean, it just fits with, I don't know, with where we idolize murderers, We don't want to pay teachers. We don't want to pay social workers. We don't want to pay people in, dealing with this stuff that have to check, so that we're understaffed. They have to cut corners. They have to, they're rushing around trying to get their caseload done. It's horrendous. And they have planes crashing, Kevin Leonard. It's crazy. And Rosalita, I think foster parents should have cameras in their homes at all times. They are caring for someone else's children. Daycares have cameras. Yeah. There's got to be something better. The kids, instead of having a home visit, those kids should be taken out of the home, maybe on a weekly basis, and they have to, be told, look, anything you say in here, it's not going to be. Don't worry about being threatened or whatever. I don't know. It's terrible. Terrible. It's we've got a lot of problems here. It's just so over the top on one side, and just doesn't, the people that are, so many kids dying, it's disgusting. And then these kids going through the abuse twice. Hi, Cato. Ugh. All right, let's go to this Florida deputy. All right, he fatally shot his girlfriend, but he says that, the story is that it was an accidental discharge. Yeah. So let's take a look at what happened. So this happened in Ocala. The police vehicles you see there in front of the house where the fatal shooting happened. Sheriff's deputy in Florida has now been charged with manslaughter, and that's for the shooting death of his girlfriend. Leslie Bolio, 32 years old, a sheriff's deputy in Marion County, Florida, said he accidentally discharged a loaded gun at his girlfriend, Paulina Wright, 25 years old, as they were cleaning and testing guns at his home on Thursday evening. Mr. Bolio was arrested on Friday. He was released on a $30,000 bond on Saturday, and that's according to his attorney, Jimmy Sparrow. Now, the chief of the Ocala Police Department, Mike Balkin, said his agency was working with the state attorney's office to ensure that justice is served, and said, and I quote, "We are deeply saddened by this tragic incident. Our thoughts and prayers go out to the victim's family and loved ones during this incredibly difficult time." Now, the arrest affidavit said the Ocala Police Department responded to a call of a shooting at 10:52 p.m. on Thursday at the house of Mr. Bolio. And that's in southeast Ocala, that's Central Florida. And he called 911 and described the shooting as an accidental discharge. When the officers arrived, they found the deputy standing behind a chair where his girlfriend was sitting. And the girlfriend, who officers said had a Glock 9mm handgun in her lap, had suffered a gunshot wound to the head and was declared dead. So here's something, right? She was still sitting in a chair. He wasn't trying to perform any life-saving CPR or anything on her, right? He's just standing behind her. It's an accidental discharge, and he's just standing. She's still sitting in a chair. What? A pistol rifle was on the kitchen table, and the deputy told officers that he and his girlfriend had dinner and margaritas at a Mexican restaurant before they went back to his house between 8 and 8:30. And then he noticed his gun cleaning supplies had been delivered, and he said, "Well, let me go clean my rifle." He said that his girlfriend had asked him to learn to use the guns, and that they were pointing them at each other. Huh. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? His girlfriend asked him how to use the guns, and they were pointing them at each other. Okay, was the first thing. Don't point guns at people. A practice that he told police he knew was wrong. He should have definitely known it was wrong as a deputy, right? Too? Someone, a law enforcement officer? Come on. Because of his work in law enforcement. Yeah, okay. But we're just pointing them at each other. Yeah, okay. The deputy said that he had disassembled the rifle and had taught his girlfriend how to clean it, and that they reassembled it, and he gave it to her to test fire it. After she was done, he entered a loaded magazine into the rifle, which he said he had planned to put away. The girlfriend picked up the handgun, which was loaded. The deputy unloaded the gun and gave it back to her to practice. According to the arrest affidavit, the deputy then grabbed the rifle, and on the second dry fire attempt, he had forgotten that he placed a loaded magazine into the rifle, which shot one live round in the direction of his girlfriend, ultimately killing her. Oh my gosh, this is insane, right? The deputy called 911, and he held his girlfriend until emergency responders came. He held her while she sat in a chair, and he said, and I quote, "I know this looks really bad." He said when he was questioned by the police, "I told her I did not want this to happen." What? That doesn't even make sense. I told her I did not want this to happen. According to the deputy, he and his girlfriend had done similar trainings in the past. Really? Because I thought he said, like, he made it sound like he was teaching her for the first time, wasn't it? And these are trainings? This is from a deputy? Come on. It was unclear whether they lived together, but the attorney said the couple had been in a serious relationship for an extended period of time. Oh my gosh. He has, the deputy, no previous criminal history, and he's scheduled to appear in court in October. What do you think about that? Think that's okay? Think that maybe? Does anybody buy that story? Please put it in there. Anybody buys that story, that you think that maybe that story is really how it occurred? I'm going to come back and look if you do think so. Does anybody buy that? You've never been cleaned and asked to clean a gun. That's not right. Okay, Valerie Curto says, no, it's sick. Luna's Dream says, guilty. Anyone here by that story thinks that, like Scooter, Scooter will usually give people the benefit of the doubt, even when they have like a smoking gun in their hand. Scooter will be like, well, did we see them shoot? I know it's smoking, and they're standing there, and they have blood spatter on them, but I don't know. I'm going to wait this one out. No, Scooter said, what does she say? No, she doesn't believe it. Amazing. Okay, the story, no. It sounds very odd, Kevin says. Stop, Scooter says. Well, it's a truth, Scooter, you know. It's true, Slam. It's true. I'm telling you. I'm telling you. So yeah, that's horrendous. So a young woman gone, and fat chance it was an accident, so he out and out killed her. Yeah, that's pretty sad. And, oh boy. Now we're going to go to another, we're going to go to South Carolina in just a second here. And you've got a very young wife missing. So let me... I want to get that. I was trying to get the statement from the police to see. Okay, let me go back now to the South Carolina missing wife, and now the house being searched after reports of a troubled marriage. Please to remind me to tell you a feel-good story at the end of this about a cat that made its way back home after, you wouldn't believe. Okay. So here's the wife who's missing. Come on, get over there. Please get over there, picture. Let me make this larger. She's young, 20 years old, I believe. 20 or 21, I'll tell you. Hang on. Okay. So the home of this woman here, Jessica Barnes, 20 years old, she was last seen in early August. She's been gone for a long time from her house located on Laurel Drive. So the house now was being searched on Friday afternoon, and that's according to the Pendleton Police Chief, Robert Crosby. So they had a police helicopter that flew over the house as it was being searched. Kind of looks reminiscent of Daybell's search. I don't know, the color of the house, like, I don't know, it just gives me Daybell vibes. The chief said that the woman, Jessica Barnes, was reported missing by her mother on September 10th. She was last seen wearing an orange t-shirt, dark jean shorts, flip-flops, and a black backpack. Okay. So, according to the chief of police, they were going through a troubled marriage. There were some issues with her and her husband. They were having the typical marital disputes, argumentative, and then she just left. Now, the police chief added at this time, Jessica Barnes' husband is not a suspect in the case. And he also said that Jessica did not tell her husband or her two roommates where she was going when she left. So they had two roommates as well. Interesting. On Thursday, law enforcement officers searched a wooded area near Twin Lakes boat ramp, where a vehicle she usually drove was pinged. Now, Jessica's mother, Cecilia Varvara, said she got a message from her daughter on September 10th, but she doesn't believe it was actually from Jessica due to how the message was written. And if anyone has information on her whereabouts, police are asking for them to call immediately. So let's see if we can find out a little bit more about this Jessica Barnes. Jessica Barnes. Her mother was pleading on about her daughter's going missing, and a community prayer vigil was held on Thursday night. Her mother, Cecilia, said, and I quote, "If you see this, know that you are loved, and we are waiting for you to give me a phone call as soon as you get this, and know that your father and your siblings are worrying, and I'm worrying about you and your safety." Her mother described her daughter, Jessica, as artistic and intelligent, saying, and I quote, "She loved God, first of all. She is an artist. She likes to write songs and everything. She's very bubbly and smart." Now, I see some things where they're saying that maybe she's in Michigan. I don't know why they're getting that or why someone is saying that, but nobody in Michigan has seen or heard from her. She has family in Troy and Grand Rapids, Michigan. She grew up in Troy, Michigan, but nobody is seeing her up there. So I think people are just trying to find her, but it's troubling to me that her car pinged in the area where there's water. That's troubling to me. Yeah. I'm okay, so some people are saying that since the house search, they're really believing that the husband did this, allegedly. And look, the husband, the spouse, is the first person that they looked at. It's just what they do, okay? Now then you find out they had troubled marriage, and, what's going on? How is he acting? So some people say that he allegedly abused her to the point that she lost a pregnancy. Let's see. I'm trying to see what else. 'Cause, sometimes you can find out some stuff by just listening to some people that live around. Not all the time. Here's another look at Jessica, just in case anyone saw her, sees her. Like, what's the fuss? See, there's like the husband is seemingly like, what's his demeanor? What's going on with this guy? And they don't want to talk about the mother's message, obviously, because of the investigation, and they don't want to give out information about that in case, they want to find out if she wrote it or she didn't write it. Excuse me. Trying to see if there's anything else. I just want to see if there's any kind of a Facebook presence here for. See, they're saying that a lot of law enforcement activity at a home in Pendleton, South Carolina. tied to Jessica Barnes. Like, there's a lot of police in that search, right? Not reported missing for weeks. Her ex-boyfriend reportedly told neighbors that she went to Romania where her father lives, but this turned out to be false. He then reportedly told police that she went to Michigan, but no one in Michigan has seen or heard from her. She hasn't had any official contact with any friends or family since August 1st. Her phone has been disconnected, and she doesn't have any money for travel. Now, I don't know whether that is reported mistakenly as her ex-boyfriend or because she had a husband. And what's going on with this? Okay. So what they're saying is Jessica Barnes has been missing from Pendleton, South Carolina since August 1st. Her husband told neighbors. See, it's a husband. Oh my gosh, it's just like even news sources. It's like, come on. Told neighbors that she was visiting her father in Romania. But her mother found out this is a lie. So her mother contacted the police. The husband then told people she was visiting people in Michigan. She grew up in Troy, Michigan. She has family in Troy and Grand Rapids. Oh, come on now. The husband is so involved now. Are you kidding? Nobody in Michigan has seen or heard from her. Her husband is now saying she has run away. There is a history of severe abuse, and in April, he abused her so badly it led to the loss of a pregnancy. This is not a runaway case. This is a domestic violence case. There is a possibility she fled to Michigan and is hiding somewhere for her safety. Wherever Jessica is, whether something sinister happened or she has fled for her life and is hiding, she deserves to be brought home to her family. Please share out her picture, flyer, get her story out there. And then if you have any information, contact Pendleton Police Department Chief Robert Crosby at 864-646-9409. Wow, that's horrendous. Let's see. What are they finding? Sled is involved. Okay, so yeah, I mean, I'm afraid that she is hiding out somewhere, but it sounds really bad. So, so young, right, Kevin? Oh, she's missing. Yep. Yep, she's missing. Okay. Let's move to a good story for a moment, okay? Okay, so you believe this or not, but it happened. Rainbow, and the cat's name is Rain, R-A-Y-N-E, Beau, B-E-A-U, Rainbow, escaped over a backyard fence, and then he escaped into the biggest backyard in the United States. He ran off into the woods at Yellowstone National Park during a camping trip in June. His California owners, Benny and Suzanne Anguiano, thought they would never see their beloved cat again. They searched for 5 days through the woods near their campground, at Fishing Bridge RV Park, but they never found their 2-year-old male Siamese cat, Rainbow. Mr. Anguiano said that Rainbow's sister, Star, started to meow through the screen door of the RV. Eventually, when the couple made the tough decision that it was time to drive home to Salinas, California, Star, who had never been away from her brother, meowed all the way back home. Mrs. Anguiano said, and I quote, "Leaving him was unthinkable. I felt like I was abandoning him. But almost 2 months later, Rainbow was found wandering the streets of Roseville, California, 3 hours north of where the Anguianos live and more than 800 miles away from Yellowstone National Park." Wow. When a worker from a local society for the prevention of cruelty to animals notified the couple that rescuers had identified Rainbow from his microchip, Mr. Anguiano said they were shocked that the cat had made it back to California. They met Rainbow and his sister when they were 11 weeks old and decided to foster and then adopt them. Rainbow, who at first seemed timid compared to his playful sister, quickly adjusted to his new home, and they said he had an adventurous streak. Mrs. Anguiano described him as being like a dog cat who played fetch and came to her when she called his name. She said he was very clever, and one night he climbed over the fence of their backyard, but he returned home the following morning. But this time it was different. Mrs. Anguiano said that when Rainbow dashed out of the truck, the couple quickly lost sight of him in the dense forest, and they waited for him to come back, but he never did. He didn't realize it wasn't just like his backyard, she said. This is like the biggest backyard in the United States. And during their search, Mr. Anguiano said a campsite worker told him that there had been grizzly bears and coyotes spotted around the area, and that their cat was likely to have been eaten by one of the forest's predators. After hearing this, Mr. Anguiano persuaded his wife that it was time to leave. The couple left the park days later without their cat, but Mrs. Anguiano kept hoping Rainbow was safe. As they were driving, she said she noticed a double rainbow greeted them as they entered Nevada. And I quote, she said, "That gave me hope that our Rainbow would be okay." The couple believed at some point their cat hitched a ride or was picked up by a driver that was heading towards California, but they don't know for sure. The couple's hoping that anybody that sees their cat might recognize it and come and tell your story and explain if you helped this cat find its way back to California. The fact that he was in California and 3 hours north of us, I think that proves more than Rainbow was the one trying to get towards his home, said Mrs. Anguiano. Now, while it's not common, it's not the first time a pet has inexplicably traveled hundreds of miles to return home. When the couple reunited with Rainbow, Rainbow had lost 40% of his body weight. He was restless in his carrier, but when they released him in the car, he calmed down. The woman said he just looked at me and then he put his head down and just fell asleep. He was so exhausted. So he's been back home since early August and he's doing well. Couple doesn't want to travel again with her cats, but if she does, they won't be so far away from home. Don't take the cats. Leave. Come on, stop. Be happy your cat's home right now. That's amazing. Amazing story, right? Amazing. Is that good, Eddie? That's good. Okay, so yeah, that's great. All right. Next. Let me go and see. Hi, nurse of all trades. How are you? Get a pet sitter and have the cat ID tag chipped. Yeah. Yeah. Leave the cat alone. Don't take the cat on a trip. Leave the cats home. They'll be fine. So that was a good story. Was that good? Is that good, darling? All right. Tomorrow, please remember, especially you, Scooter, that we have a mental health professional coming at 2 p.m. and we're going to be discussing something that affects so many of you, maybe me too, and you're not going to want to miss it. Would drive you crazy, the cat missing? Yeah. Okay, so you're not going to want to miss it, so please come on. And 2 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time tomorrow. And then Tuesday at 2 p.m. we have another person coming. So you're not going to want to miss those. All right? All right. And I will see you then later on. Hi. Should we do a word cookie? I don't know, but got an author interview tomorrow. Be sure to join us. Thank you for getting your membership, Slam. Hi, nurse of all trades. Good to see you. Where's Kato? You know what? What time is it? It's only 1:24. Why don't we have a movie or something? I'll put the numbers in. If any members and Patreons want to come in, we'll watch something maybe. We'll see what's on. It's definitely not going to be the Menendez brothers. That was horrendous. We're not watching that. Kevin was saying that they're putting on that couple that went on the run from prison in 20. But I don't know if that's on Vicky White. I don't know if that's on. Is it on? I don't know. But we can find something to watch. It might not even be true crime. We don't know. But if you want to come in, I'll come in. Alicia Hassinger, if you're around, can you check your email, please? I need you to check your email. And where's our Honey Fleur? Honey Fleur, where are you? I know you were working on a project. I hope everything is good with you, Honey Fleur. And okay. It doesn't come out for a week. Okay, so we won't watch that one then. I guess we can't, but maybe maybe we can watch something else. Okay, I got it. Okay, I did it. I did it. Okay. Let me go start a new Zoom, and I have to put the number in. So I'm going to go do that. Come on over. If you want to come over to the movie night, I'm going to be putting the numbers in. I would love a movie. Come on, Nurse of All Trades. Do you know how to look for the number? You're a member. It'll be in Slack. I think you're in Slack. But it'll be in the, you know how to go to the community section of YouTube? It'll be there, and it'll be in the Patreon, okay? All right, so let me get that. I'm going to start a new Zoom, and I'm going to put the numbers, Nurse of All Trades, and we'll see if you can get there, okay? Let me pull a new Zoom up here right now. Doing that. Okay, I'm going to end the other meeting. Everybody got kicked out. Everybody did. Had to start a new one anyway. And we will go over here and invite. Copy invitation. Let me start putting those invitations in. Here's the one's going to go. The first one's going to go on the members community tab post. So if you're a member, you'll be able to see it. And here it goes. Visibility, all channel members. There you go. Okay, and then we're going to go to Patreon. And let me put up the Patreon. Create. Text. Movie night. There we go. Okay, it's up on the Patreon for the Patreon members. Wonderful. And now I'm going to do it in Slack. And Nurse of All Trades, tell me if you see this, if you're able to get the number and come on. I want to make sure you're able to get on. Putting it in Slack now as well. There we go. All right, there we go. Now you've got it all. And we can just, oh, here they come. Honey Fleur. Hi, Honey Fleur. We missed you. Haven't seen you around. You okay?
Hello.
Hi.
How you been?
Hi, good. We missed you.
Yeah, I've been busy. I'm sorry.
Oh my gosh, don't you know you have to check in with us and everything? You're not allowed to be busy. Oh my goodness. Okay. All right, guys, I'm going to end the live because we're going to go here. If you, the numbers are all out, so you can come on in. We'll see you then. Love you. Bye. God bless. I'll see you tomorrow. Remember, 2 p.m. Mental health. Come on.
What?
You all
Mental
need
Health
it.
Month?
No, we're having an interview with somebody in the mental health field about something I think a lot of us have.
Cool.
PTSD? Is it?